Hey Ed, good morning.
Good morning.
I stopped by and I noticed you're working on a manual transmissions, and you're starting to explain to me there's some good options and different ways of doing a manual transmission on a flathead.
Yeah, there's this. And basically, some of these later model flatheads were really interested in keeping an open drive shaft. Get rid of that tube drive shaft.
Okay.
So in that 49 and newer, was several options on transmissions, even the old Granny 4-speed for trucks, 3/4 ton trucks and stuff, and then go back to 3 speeds. And 3 speeds just a little transmission. Actually, there's one laying right here on the floor. It's a simple little 3-speed.
Yeah.
It's a short tail housing, open drive shaft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Okay. That's
And,
a good example. So that fits on the back of the block.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized bell housing with motor mounts on each side.
Oh, right.
You can see, so it's a little bit awkward and something we wouldn't use in a car. It's actually a 3/4 ton truck.
Oh yeah, it looks
bell
very
housing.
heavy duty. Yeah. Huh.
With this transmission 3-speed.
Okay.
So then we'd end up with, of course, all of our hot rods. We'd like to get a little better drivability.
Yeah.
So with that, we can get a 3-speed overdrive. So that first goes first, second, third gear, and then you leave up on the gas and it goes into 4th gear, or overdrive.
Okay.
And they made those from 49 to 56, and even newer.
Okay.
So here happens to be one I'm just going over.
Yeah.
This happens to be a bell housing for a flathead. It takes that Ford transmission with this bell housing is a normal bell housing.
Okay.
Bolts and stuff. It would be like a 49 transmission would go on this thing. 49 Ford transmission. It's a little bit crazy on this bell housing.
What's that?
And we'll be a little particular here.
Okay.
It's just different. It's solid steel, and it does not have that little piece on here, a 2-piece bell housing like the other ones do. So this one here will pay a particular attention to it. And actually, when they made it crooked.
Okay.
And people say, I didn't know they made one crooked. So here's the starter plate for it.
Okay.
And
right.
this is crooked too.
Okay.
So if you use a regular starter plate for it, the starter would be at an angle. So this bell housing here, pay attention, it's actually sloped down here about a ½ an inch.
Look at
And
that.
here's where it's sloped, this much, almost a ½ an inch.
Oh yeah.
So this is a big deal here. This is about 3/4 inch here and a ½ inch here, so that makes the starter straight.
So that
So
straightens
this
it up.
has to go on here and stay with this bell housing only. This level, you can see how much it is off the bench here.
Right. That actually looks like more than ½ an inch almost.
Yeah, yeah. So there's how much it's off balance.
Wow. Yeah.
But again, you have to have this shield. The shield goes under here,
Yeah.
makes that spacer up, and makes it level like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you have one without the other one, you're stuck.
It's out of alignment, right?
Yeah, this makes the starter here offset.
And no, so what is this from? What is
Again, 49.
49 to 56-ish or whatever?
Yeah, 49, 53. Yeah,
So, okay, and so you need that to fit it up to make it all work.
yes.
And tell me, what are some of the advantages to using this 3-speed with overdrive?
Overdrive is an overdrive.
Okay.
So now you can go down the road at high gear
Yep.
and go into overdrive. So that slows your speedometer bound, maybe 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So now you can cruise at 60, 65, 70
Okay.
with the low RPMs of the Flathead Ford motor. So it's
Right.
awesome.
And you can maintain your 3-speed shifter?
Yes, column shift.
Okay.
So we're going to put this transmission in there. I found this the other day.
Okay.
This is a late model with the column shift, side shift on it. Here's some pieces for it.
Oh, I see.
So we're going to make column shift and put this on this 9-bolt cover here.
So
And
where
this-
would you find a transmission like
Oh, they're
that?
just around.
Okay.
So then this has the same bolts as this bell housing here, these center bolts.
Okay.
And then it says the late model bolts on the outside. So this would
Okay.
actually fit a 302 Ford, a
Uh-huh.
Mustang, or any late model motors.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
So that allows you to put a late model transmission on the old Flathead
Yes, on this bell housing.
with that bell housing.
Yeah. So we're going to put this late model on this bell
Oh,
bell housing right,
right.
with the early model bolts.
It
Yeah.
fits up right there.
Instead of something like this. So
Okay,
this
so
bell
what are we
housing
looking
here,
at here?
you wouldn't use this. This takes from the engine all the way back to the bell to the
Right.
actually thing. So this is more of a late model bell housing like.
Okay, so this is a situation for a more original
Yes.
setup?
Yeah, 49 to 53.
Okay. Now
And
what
then-
about, yeah, go ahead.
Then we've got the Tremec 5-speed,
Okay, yeah.
and we've got this adapter here, this 5-inch adapter, this aluminum piece here,
Yeah.
that converts a late model 98, 99 Ford Tremec 5-speed
Uh-huh.
to this flathead motor.
Okay.
So that's where we all
So
put this.
does that include this adapter and I guess anything else
Yeah,
needed
the
to-
clutch, the bearing and shaft and all that is included in the adapter
it's part
price.
of the adapter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've had this all on this motor. This goes with this motor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we see how that goes together.
Yeah, and this will be a 5-speed with overdrive, 5th gear's overdrive.
Right. Now the difference again, you're not trying to keep it original at that point. You're
That's
going to
right.
use a floor shifter.
Well, even though it keep it original, you want to get the job done.
Yeah.
So this transmission here is about $3,000, and the adapter is probably $850
Yeah.
for the adapter.
Okay.
And we'll go back to this one now
Yep.
because this is the late model Mustang transmission.
Okay.
I'm sure, maybe 65. I think they offered it overdrive because this would go on a 65 thing then.
Right.
So we've taken, the only option we did was took this front collar off of here
Okay.
and I machined it down.
How much did you have to machine it?
About 70,000.
Okay.
And then it goes in this house, so it centers in there now.
Uh-huh.
That's where it goes. And that's the only thing we had to do to change it, to put it in here. Other than that, it all
Okay.
goes together.
It all just goes together.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I think people are often curious. They see different things, different setups on these flatheads.
You get the same job done. You want something to drivability. We can get your flathead with a little carburation there and
Okay.
go down the road. And this would be for I think a 51 or 52 Ford pickup truck
Uh-huh.
with this overdrive column shift. Be more of a little bit original, but yeah, overdrive.
Okay, now I want to go back to the overdrive. I have a couple quick questions for you on that.
Okay.
Does it shift into overdrive only from third gear?
No, you can actually. We played with these when we were young. That you can actually go first gear overdrive.
Okay.
Then it stays in overdrive. You're already in second gear overdrive, and then in the third gear overdrive.
Okay.
If you want to be a real racer, you could go first gear overdrive, then second gear non-overdrive,
Okay.
and then go into second gear overdrive, and then go back to third gear standard, and then go back to third gear overdrive.
So you kind of make a 6-speed.
Yeah, make a 6-speed out if you want to shift a lot.
Well, how does it go in and out of overdrive?
Well, it's electrically.
Do you have a switch somewhere?
Yes, you would, yeah.
Okay.
And also has a cable. This has a cable because these overdrive transmissions you can't back up.
Oh.
They freewheel. So to back the car up is a cable shift, a T-handle on the dash. If you pull that out, then it locks up the overdrive.
Uh-huh.
So you can actually push start the car, or else you could back up with it.
Okay.
And other than that, this overdrive here, going down a hill, it will freewheel.
Huh.
And you just run away if you're going down a steep hill.
Right.
You wouldn't have any back.
No engine braking that way.
Engine brake. No, you wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit funny, but it
Yeah.
worked fine. And I don't
Interesting.
know if I ever broke one of them,
Yeah.
a broken overdrive, because they're pretty strong.
It's-
Yeah, yeah.
So were those overdrives? Okay, so they become with the design of the transmission then. It came
Yeah.
that way.
That was all factory.
I see.
I think one of my high school friends was Ronnie Cito, and that's when we lived in Ohio.
Uh-huh.
His dad had a 56 Ford station wagon,
Yeah.
3-speed overdrive, 4-barrel, dual exhaust. And I think it had a 312 motor.
Wow, that's a big
56.
setup.
Yeah, or at least 292.
Yeah.
4-barrel, dual exhaust, 3-speed overdrive. And that was a pretty fast car.
No
It
kidding.
probably had a 410 rear end in it.
Uh-huh.
So he used to, don't tell nobody, but I think he did a little drag racing. And one of the girls in our class, her mother had a 55 Chevy, a Power Glide, I think.
Uh-huh.
And they used to race a little bit once in a while when we were about, maybe 17 or 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I think the Ford always beat her.
No kidding.
But she was pretty good at it. She was, God bless her.
Yeah, uh-huh. She held her own, huh?
She held her own, yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't tell nobody, didn't tell his dad, and I'm sure she didn't tell her mother.
Right?
Yeah, so it was fun.
That's great. Well, this is great, seeing the way to put it together, and I'm sure people are glad to see how these different options are. We do get questions about that.
Yeah.
And I guess just as long as we're looking at it, what's the setup there? Is that basically the same as this one?
Same as this one, yeah.
Yeah. So this one, it's just a different color is all.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed, thank you very much. Appreciate you showing us how that works.
Enjoy. Have
Okay,
fun.
right on. Thanks again for watching another episode of Barry T's Garage.